Hi and welcome to my PlayHouse, and today we're gonna be looking at an intelligent charge controller for charging and discharging lithium-ion batteries. That's the main purpose of it. If you want to get into Powerwall, you'll probably be looking for laptop batteries, and I have started to take this one apart just to show the cells inside. But when you have a lot of these cells, this one contains 9 cells that needs to be charged, and you need to discharge them to make sure what capacity each cell has, and then you have to charge them up again, because the batteries has to be stored somewhat charged to not become damaged. And to do that, it's a really good idea to have one of these intelligent battery chargers. And I must admit that I did not go with this one at first. It was first when someone else lent it to me that I got my eyes up for how much easier this was. So let's go to the table and see what we got. So this product is the Opus BT-C3100, and it has the software version 2.2. Older versions are also available with software version 2.0 and 2.1. I am not sure what they have changed. I just received this. It's made in China. They brag about that somewhere. Here. It's made in China. This one is delivered with the European plugs. Most of the Chinese online shops are really good at this. If I order something from the EU, they will look at what country I'm in, and I almost always get the right plug. If I'm in the UK, they will make sure that I get a UK connector. If you're in the US, well, you get a plug from the United States. They're pretty awesome at that, I must admit that. So the box says that this is, it says it's in German and English and English again. And then it has the different battery types that it will do down here. It can do NiCd, NiMH, or lithium-ion rechargeable batteries. And there's a lot of types here. The one that I'm interested in is the 18650. That's the most important one for me. I do also have a couple of 14500s here, just to show that they will fit. Maximum charging capacity up to 20,000 milliamp hours. Keeps you going, okay. Then there's the different options for the charge controller in a very short version here. It can charge the batteries. The normal charging is, well, you can charge each battery with about 1 amp. If you have a very large batteries, one of these 26650s, 26500, you will be able to charge those with up to 2 amps, but then you don't occupy all the slots here. I think you can only have 1 battery in there. I don't have any of those. I would have liked to try that. But we have charging mode, that will just charge the battery. Then we have charge test, which is the one that we will be looking very closely at. Then we have quick test, which more or less measures the internal resistance of the battery. We have discharge refresh, and we have just discharge. What this does, this charges the battery up to full capacity. For the 18650 battery, that means that they will be charged up to 4.2 volts, and well, then it will just tell you that it's done. Charge test, that will do the same. It will fully charge the battery up to 4.2 volts, then it will start a discharge of the battery and bring the battery all the way down to 2.95 volts, and then it will tell you how much capacity it got out of the battery doing that, and it will start to charge the battery up to full capacity again. That's why this charger is so neat, that it can do that. And it does not forget the capacity of the battery, so even when the battery is again fully charged, the charge controller will tell you that I have completed, but the capacity of this battery was this and this and this. Quick test, it will just give you the internal resistance of the battery. If the battery is able to deliver a good current, this I don't know what to use that for, but you could use it to determine if a specific type of battery is a battery with a large capacity or rated for a large output current. Some of these batteries are only rated for like discharging with 1 amp. Some of them will discharge with 5 amps, and well, that would show up if you do a quick test. Then there is Discharge Refresh. What this will do, it will charge the battery up to full capacity, it will discharge it, it will charge it, it will discharge it, it will charge it, and it will do that 3 times, leaving the battery fully charged at the end. And well, it's like gymnastics for batteries. You can try if you can make a battery good again by giving it a workout. Haven't tried that, but it sounds like a good idea. Then there is normal discharge, which will just bring down the battery to 2.95 volts and tell you how much capacity there was in it. And then they brag about the same thing again. Here is a picture of the charge controller. Well, it's not a picture, it's a drawing. Charging current up to 2000 milliamps, discharge current up to 1000 milliamps. It has 4 buttons. Often these are just called a 4-button charger. So other brands are available. I think this is just branded, so you can get this charge controller doing the exact same thing but with a different name and a different box. And so there is not much else on the box, so let's go into the box and see what comes with this. This one comes with a manual. Well, actually I think one of the manuals are for the other one. So operating manual, which probably pretty much says exactly the same thing that I've just tried to say. There are some safety things, yeah. There is what's included. Looks fairly good English, no problem there. There is something. It comes with a 12-volt power supply, 3 amps. It can charge the batteries with 200 milliamps, 300, 500, 700, 1000, 1500 and 2000 milliamps. And then it has discharging of 200, 300, 500, 700 and 1000 milliamps. Maximum charging capacity 20,000 milliamp. Operating temperature, well, that's the ambient temperature outside, from 0 to 40 degrees C. And then there's a little bit about the voltage, that it can vary a little bit. 0.03 volts at 4.2 volts. So it can go 4.23 or 4.17 is about the would be the error reading for this. Manual, go away. So here is, we have the, it's a beefy one. It goes from 100 volts to 240 volts AC. So this is good for both the United States and the European Union and more or less the entire planet, I guess. Well, no problem there. Only the plug would be a problem. And it seems that this doesn't come off. They probably put in other charge controllers if you have different plugs. Then this is a European plug, so that's good for me. Here is the charge controller. Make sure nothing else has hidden away in the box. Like a little storeway, no, nothing there. So let's see the charge controller. It's plastic. It has room for 4 batteries. We could just put one in. There. And that looks like that. On the back we have some more. It tells you a little bit how to treat this thing. It's English and German. It tells you some of the batteries that can be charged with this, and it's made in China, and there's CE. Well, they put that label on there anyway. It has a tiny little fan blower here, which can be quite noisy. That's not always a good thing. and the fan will run if you are charging or discharging with 0.5 amps. The fan will turn on and off. If you are doing 1 amp per battery, the fan will run continuously. So cool. Let's try and plug some power onto this and see this working. So I'll plug this in the wall right behind me, part of the plant, I'm sure. And let's put in the power plug. There, it lights up, shows you all the display. Awesome. And then it's booted. When it's blinking, you can select different modes. Right now it's stopped blinking, so the mode has been selected. Right now we are charging all of these. If we unplug power and put it back in, it will go through the power cycle, and when it comes and it blinks, I can change the modes from the 4 modes that was on the box. These 4 modes. So let's just go through them. I'll start with the charging, which is just, it will charge the battery. Then there is discharge, which will just discharge the battery. Then there is discharge refresh, which will do that discharging 3 times. Then there is charge test, which will charge the battery, discharge the battery, charge it up again and show you the result. Then there is quick test, which is the internal resistance of the battery. And we are back to charging. I have to press a little bit faster, otherwise it will stop. So discharging, discharge refresh, discharge test, quick test, charging, and discharging. Let's just pick discharging for a little bit. There, it has picked discharging for all of the cells here. But we can select independent cells here by pressing the slot. So now slot number 1 is blinking. We can move to slot number 3 and 4. So, but let's go to, and all of them. So, oh, I didn't even know that. So I can change all of them now. And we will go to charge test. But I might want to say that I am charge testing the first 3. So let's go to the 4th one. And we can select another mode for that. Like, we just need to charge that one. So we can pick that one. When that is picked, we can also select the current. How much power do we want to charge test it with? So as soon as we put in a battery, this one should be pretty empty. Let's see if that's true. It shows 2 volts. And here we can select how much charging we want to do. As long as it blinks, it's good. Oh, I can see that I could actually pick, I can charge it with 2 amps. That's new for this charge controller. That was not. So they have improved on this since one of the earlier versions. I'll pick 500 milliamps. There. And it will show me how much power it's putting into this battery. It has a lot of intelligence built in. So it knows when this battery is this bad, it won't start by putting in 500 milliamp. We can kind of see that the voltage is 1.95 volts and rising. As the voltage will go up, it will charge the battery harder. So I think when it comes over 3 volts or something, it will go to the 500 milliamp, charge it full blast. So right now the voltage is 2.3 volts, charging with very little power. And that is, it's doing that because that's the best thing for the battery. If you just push 500 milliamp hours into this battery, well, that can damage the battery. So you don't really want that, and the charge controller takes care of that for you. So it knows that, well, 2 volt battery, not a good idea to push that much into there. So I have another battery here. This one should be full-ish. So if we put this one in, it should look at the battery and start a discharge test. Now these tests takes forever and ever and ever. Well, it's actually not entirely full. It asks me now, do you want to do this with 500 milliamp? And yes, this one is actually a little bit over. So we can hit the display. We can see that the first battery has now hit over 3 volts, so it's charging with 500 milliamp. The second one is also, it's 450 right now, and we can see the voltage. This one is on 3.41 volts and this one is on 4.18. This one will charge up to 4.2 volts and then it will start to discharge. And this one will of course charge up to 4.2 volts as well and then start the discharge. You can also see how long the batteries has been in here. This one has been in here for 3 minutes. This one has been in here for 1 minute. So when you're discharging a battery and you wonder why isn't it done yet, this is a good feature because, okay, so if it has been in here for 4 hours and still discharging with 500 milliamp hours, okay, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a very good battery. So that's always nice. So let's see how we're doing here. We are still at 4.18 volts with the green one. It would be nice to see that start the discharge. But very often when it gets up to close to where it has to go, it will decrease the amount of amperage going into the battery. You can see this is only charging with about half of what I asked it to do. That is also to get the highest amount of stored power into the battery. You can see that it keeps going down. Let's see if the voltage, hasn't gone up to 4.2 volts yet. This one is climbing nicely. 5 minutes, 3 minutes. We are down to 160 something milliamp. Let's see. The voltage has actually gone down. So I think I will try and see if I can cheat it by resetting it a little bit. So we'll just take it out, put it in again. It measures the voltage and it goes straight to charging this with 500 milliamp, although it goes down fairly quick. But we might get some good voltage into that before it drops all the way down. Let's see what the voltage says. Yeah, we're almost there, 4.19 volts. Okay, this reached 4.2 volts. I think we're almost there. It's still putting a charge in. And then it dropped. Okay, while this is working, why are we doing this? Well, to make a good battery bank, we need a lot of cells. This is 1/7 of what I use in my power banks. My power banks, I use 140 cells to make a power bank that will deliver 48 volts and about a kilowatt hour of power. So, but it's very important to measure the capacity of the batteries. Let's see what we have here. We have a battery that I have measured to have a capacity of 2256 milliamp hours. This is all fine. That's the capacity of this battery. If we take another one, this one is a lot less. This is 1390 milliamp hours. If I was to parallel these two, well, they would have a capacity of 646, right? That would be all good as long as I do that. If I put them in series like this, well, I would get double the voltage, but the capacity would go down because now it's the smallest of these two batteries that decides what the capacity is. I might still be able to get the right amount of power out of this But as soon as I have gotten 1390 milliamp hours out of these two batteries, this one will drop in voltage so rapidly that the voltage will all be over here. So instead of me having, let's say, 7.4 volts, I would have more like 3.7 volts, maybe a little bit on here. And so I would damage this battery severely. And when I would try to charge them again, they would charge unevenly, because I would now have a dead battery and I would have a good battery, and all the charge would go to one of them. And if this one is totally damaged, well, I would try to charge this with 7.2 volts, and that's when bad things could happen, like this would be overcharged, overheat, and do stuff that is not nice. So what you want to do is, if you're going to do this, you have to have batteries that are equal in capacity. Let's see if we can do something here. Yeah, we could do something like this. This is not exact, but this would be a lot closer. So we will have two batteries that combined gives the same amount of efficiency as these two batteries, and when we drain the batteries, they will drain at about the same rate, and when we charge the batteries, they will charge at about the same rate. We also use a BMS to make sure that the charging and discharging is done equally, but we really have to make sure that the cells has the same capacity in each of their blocks, so that nothing bad happens. So that's why we're doing this. We need to know the capacity of the batteries so that we don't break anything too bad. We can also build in some fail-safe like fuses and stuff, and do other stuff. Well, I did say that I had another battery, and this seems not to be the 14,500 but the 17,500, which is a tiny little cute one compared to a 18,650. So yeah, that will go in there too. This one is pretty dead-ish. It's probably, well, 2.111 volts. So, and it could be good to select to charge this with a lower current. I have another one here. Let's see how that is doing. There, that's a lot better. It seems I have had this in the charger already, so otherwise it wouldn't be 3.88 volts. But because the voltage is higher, this is gonna be charging with a lot more. So this one is teasing me. It's not coming on. It has dropped in charged very much. This one is good. That's gonna be coming up. We are already at 3.81 volts. This one is coming up, dropping off. So apparently there is room for some more charge in this battery, which well, it's good because the charge controller feels that. A stupid charge controller will just pump it up to 4.2 volts and think, well, full. This one will throttle back and see if it can put some more into it. It's a little bit like when you are fueling your car. If you just pump it up till the pump stops, well, it's not always full. There is always some bubbles and stuff in there. So if you wait 5 seconds and try again, well, you can put on another liter of gasoline at least. So yeah, this is that's what it's doing. I came across a very nice article on this charge controller. It's actually done here in Denmark. It's called Lygte-info.dk, which kind of, it means flashlight info, although Lygte can be many things. But it describes a lot of things about this charge controller. It's really thorough, really thorough. I am sure that if you really want to get smart on this, well, you can go and check this out, because it's ridiculously thorough. So yeah, it's a total report, and there's a nice conclusion too, and I have read it, and I must say that, well, I will link to this in the description if anyone is interested. It's all in English, so all is good. These charge controllers are not really that expensive. I got these on a good deal. As you saw, I got 2 of them. Or, well, you didn't actually see that. I did get 2 of them because I really like the fact that I can just put the batteries in here and it will complete the task for me. I can put in empty batteries, it will charge those up, it will discharge it, it will give me the results, and it will make sure that it's charged again. That is a lot of work that I don't have to do. As you can see, I put on these small labels on my batteries, which is it's a piece of painter's tape that I cut off with a pair of scissors, put that on, and I write the capacity. So if I should go ahead and test this battery again for some reason, I actually do that. If the batteries are under 1000 milliamp hours, I usually test them 2 times just to make sure that I didn't do anything stupid. And if the result comes out and are over 1000 milliamp hours, well, I can just remove the label and give it a new one, which is far better than writing on the battery itself. I have seen people that has been writing on the battery and then the next results underneath that. That works too, but I like this better, and I can just peel this off if it bothers me. Only problem is that sometimes if the battery is like if the battery is kind of dirty and greasy, the tape won't really stick on there very well, but it hasn't been a big problem yet, so that's just how I do it. So this charge controller, I think I got these on a really good discount. I think I paid under $20 a piece, which was a real bargain. I have not seen them that cheap since, but I'll make sure to link where you can get this in the description if you want to go this way. They're awesome. I am probably gonna go buy some more at some point. I want to see how the workload is. Right now I have 3 of these. I have borrowed 1 and I now have 2 more, and I want to see how the workload is. You know, can't go changing batteries all the time, so, but yeah, this is gonna be great. So if you want to go into the area of making your own power vault, collecting cells to make your own big lithium-ion batteries to store your green energy or what you want to store, well, this charge controller is awesome for that, and not very expensive, and it does a really good job. So and it makes your job really easy. The hardest part is really to get the batteries out of here and get the metal stuff off of them, and then you can charge them and discharge them, and well, it just does that a lot simpler. So thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again, and have a really nice day. Bye bye.